I'd like to welcome everyone to how to launch a better website in just 20 minutes. So some of the things that we'll be covering today are why a website is important, what makes a website better, and I will also be going through a detailed example on what you should look for when building a new website or maybe just improving your own. I'm also going to be giving a few tips on local search optimization that you can apply to your website today. And I'll be giving you a few resources that you can look through if if you need to learn more about websites. And then we'll be having the live Q&A section. After the live Q&A, that's when you can stick around for the optional demonstration. All right, so let's talk about why a website is important. First off, a website is important because it is open 24/7. People can learn about your business, submit questions that they may have, especially right now during tax season, everyone has questions. And of course, they can schedule appointments with you so that you can help with their tax returns or any other accounting services they may need throughout the year. A website is also easy to maintain relative to traditional marketing materials. Updates are less taxing because they're instantaneous and you can pretty much apply them as soon as you're ready. Whereas with a traditional method, you have to go back and forth with your printer, decide on the design, ensure a lot of that revisions are exactly what you need. It's just a lot more back and forth and the logistics are a little harder. Furthermore, a website is the cornerstone of your digital marketing strategy. No matter what you decide to do, whether it's SEO, PPC, social media, or any mix of those channels, your website is the central hub. It's what's going to tie everything together because it holds the majority of your information about your firm. A website also represents your brand. A lot of people do their research online, so they want to know more about you, and the website is where they'll first go to learn about what it is that you offer, but also to understand who you are, where you're located, how you're accessible, all of that information. So your website should inspire the same confidence as your actual office if you do have an office that people can visit. Um, a website also provides information to answer basic questions, or if people are doing research, this is how they really decide whether you're the right person to go to for help. It helps answer any frequently asked questions or common questions that people may have. And it saves you and your clients some time, instead of having to pick up the phone and call you for very simple questions. They really come and call you when they're ready to talk to you about your services. And of course, a website ultimately is about generating leads. It improves your chances of rankings and, you know, with improving your visibility, that ultimately can lead to leads and it allows people to easily contact you. All right, so let's talk about what makes a website better. Ultimately, your website is a platform that should be optimized for your clients and search engines. So thinking about the two audiences is really what can help you improve your website to create the perfect website for your accounting firm. So first, let's talk about what building a better website for potential clients means. And ultimately, what that means is user experience. Now, user experience is the overall experience of a person that is using a website, in this case yours, especially in terms of how easy or pleasing it is to use. There are really four contributing overall factors that really determine how good your user experience is on your website, those being design, how does it look, navigation, how easy is it for people to find the information that they're looking for, content, is the information relevant, does it answer the questions, any searchers' questions, and finally, is it mobile friendly? Can they find, read, understand all of the info on a small screen, probably only 5 inches uh, wide? All right, so we're going to go ahead and break down each of these categories. Let's first talk about design. So in terms of design, it was really funny because when I was doing the research for this, I found this uh, research that Forbes had actually done, which is based on website design. And they found that design elements are exponentially more powerful than the content itself in terms of what your website says when it comes to mistrust. So during this research, when they asked the participants to describe why they mistrusted a website, 94% of participants commented that it was directly related to the website elements on how it looked, while only 6% referenced specific content within the website. So really, design is what makes a good first impression for people that find your website. All right, so let's go over some things that may cause some mistrust in your website. The first off being busy or outdated layouts. And this is a very big one because most people, if they see a website that's outdated, there's a lot of mistrust when it comes to the type of traffic that goes, whether the website is secure or not, what cookies are being collected, because unfortunately there are people out there that hack websites and collect information. So if a website looks outdated, they're less likely to trust it because it looks like the technology may not hold up against people that are, fishing for information. The next thing would be pop-ups or flashy ads. These are just annoying. People, when they go to a website, they're probably looking for very specific information. So having pop-ups or flashy ads that are distracting are very frustrating to navigate around and try to figure out the information. Small or difficult to read print. A lot of people are already searching on a very small device, so if the print is even smaller and difficult to read, they're really not going to spend any time trying to go back or expand the text and figure out what it says. They're just going to go back to their search results and go next to the next search result that is not your website. It's probably your competitor. And then on the flip side of a busy and outdated layout is a boring design, usually lacking color. Again, this kind of comes off as unprofessional. It looks like you really just don't care about your presence, about what your brand looks like online. So it does cause a little bit of mistrust there. And then, of course, slow load times. If a website takes more than a fraction of a second to load, everyone's on the move nowadays, and if it takes a really long time to load, they're honestly not even going to mess with it. They're just going to hit the back button and go back to search results. All right, so I did want to give you guys an example of what some of these elements could look like. This is honestly not that bad of a website, but there is some room for improvement. First thing I see here is maybe the design looks a little outdated. Right now, a lot of designers are about responsive and flat design and having elements move around to adjust to devices, and this website frankly doesn't look like it does that. Also, it's really very impersonal. The colors are okay, but a lot of stock imagery, it just doesn't feel like you're talking to a real business. So adding a couple of, personalization photos here and there would be ideal. Let's see. And then in terms of, there's some content down here that looks incomplete. It says tax tips, but there's nothing under it. It's just disproportionate on how it's laid out. Looks very top heavy, so you really want to make sure that all of the information is laid out evenly and easy to digest. All right, so let's talk about navigation, and this is really talking about finding the information that searchers are looking for on your website. So when it comes to navigation, research by the User Interface Engineering company shows that people cannot find the information they seek on a website about 60% of the time. And I've personally experienced this where I'm navigating just any website, not tax in particular, and I just cannot find something as simple as their pricing, and I will actually go back and Google their pricing so Google can find the page for me. It's very frustrating, so you want to make sure that your navigation is easily it's there for people to find. Some common navigation mistakes that we see are using a non-standard style, and really what that's referring to is putting the navigation bar in a weird place. Typically for a desktop layout of a website, your navigation is going to be across the top of the page above the fold, so it'll be the first thing that a searcher sees when they land on your website. Also, for a mobile website or a responsive website, ideally it's going to be in the top left corner because that's going to make it accessible for anyone who's right-handed to use with their thumb. Another mistake that we've seen is having too many items on a navigation menu. So actually, a rule of thumb is to keep the items on your navigation menu so that they are less than 8 items on there. Because most people are not going to remember any more than that. And your most important pages should be on either side of the navigation. So typically, what's a way that you could really structure this is having, the introduction to your firm, your welcome page, be the first part on the left side of the navigation. As we read from left to right, the very last item should be your contact information so people actually know who you are and how to get a hold of you. Ultimately, the overall rule with a proper navigation structure is really easy. Don't require your visitors to think about where they need to go. Just make it easy for them. And then, of course, if you have someone that's working on your website, you can have some feedback with the designer to really prioritize navigation and usability of navigation. All right, so let's talk specifically about content. And this is really referring to the pictures on your website, what your website says, the copy, how the copy is laid out, all of that. So some common problems with content is, really having no purpose to the pages that are on your website. What is a purpose? What is it that you're trying to get the person to do on your page? The best way to do this is to include a call to action on every page. Say, for example, you are on a page that describes tax information. Maybe the page is intended to be more informational, so you can lead them to contact you to ask more questions. Maybe the page that they're actually on is the About page, and if they're learning about you. So after that, you may want them to learn more about the services that you offer. So include in the About page an accessible and easy way to get to the rest of your services. Also, having too much copy on your page can be an issue. Your copy should be concise, digestible, and get right to the point. Um, if you feel like you're expanding on too much copy, you can link to other pages and build it out and distribute the copy throughout other pages so that each of the pages are not very long and doesn't have too much information. On the flip side of that, there is a danger of not having enough copy. You want to include enough messaging to establish what the searcher is getting and why they want it. It is having too much and not enough copy does walk the line a little bit, so having some feedback on your pages is ideal, whether it's someone else in your office that's reading it, or maybe your wife, your husband, whatever it may be. Ask them to read over your pages and see if they make sense and if it prompts them to take a next step. Um, Finally, having content that is sloppy is a big no-no. Sloppy web copy can make the business look unprofessional and careless for obvious reasons. It just shows that you really don't care about what's on your site. All right, so let's talk about mobile. So really this is speaking to how a website shows on a mobile device. So you can see here on the left-hand side that we already see a lot of the issues that I've gone over. So there's some issues with the navigation. Those buttons are frankly going to be too small to navigate through. Someone's going to have to pinch and zoom to read this text. It's just going to be really hard to figure out what this website is about and how to take the next step to contact this person. On the other hand, a website that is responsive actually fits the website so that it moves elements around so that it fits on the screen size and they're easy to see. You can see here there's a big call to action you can learn more about, or just call directly from the website, or email the accounting form, you know who it is, and you can scroll down and see what their services are. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys an actual example. There we go. Okay, so this is one of our sites. It is just a template on one of our sites, and you can definitely go to our website to see all of our templates. But here we see that, you know, it has a clear answer to who it is. The navigation is readily available. This 3 menu is pretty standard, and it's bleeding over to desktop. You can schedule a consultation, and here, as I scroll down just a little bit, I can already find things that I'm looking for. So business services, tax services, especially now, are separated out if I'm looking for um, help on my tax services, and then of course contact information. If we scroll a little bit further down, it tells me where you are, who you are, what you do, and all of the information there. So um, this is a really good layout for design, especially here you can see it maintains its integrity when it's moved on a mobile device or when it's viewed on a mobile device. Okay. Let's see, we already talked about navigation, content, mobile we saw. And by the way, this will be included in your handout. So if you want to click around and explore on the specific website design or check any other out, you could go ahead and do that. Just click on the live example link at the top. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a couple of tips on how to optimize your website for search engines. Remember, this is the other quote-unquote audience you're optimizing for, because search engines are going to go, they're going to read your site, understand what it is about, and then return each of the pages as a search result for people that may be asking questions related to your services. All right, so first off, like I mentioned, search engines are going to determine how relevant your firm is to any given search query or keyword. About 50% of local search ranking factors are dependent on a well-optimized website. So what is a well-optimized website? Well, first off, it's going to be mobile compatibility. I've been mentioning this a lot, and that's because it's actually a ranking factor that was introduced, I believe, in 2015 with one of Google's updates. And what that essentially meant was that if your website was not mobile friendly, meaning that it didn't really structure or change its layout to fit the device screen, it was going to push you down further in search results. And that's really speaking to how users are searching, and Google did this because it it creates a better user experience for people that are searching, and obviously they want to keep people on their search engine that's valuable to them, so they want to create the best experience possible for the searcher. Another thing is to include metadata and optimize all of your metadata. Now, metadata is, it's English, it's copy, but it's not evident on a page just by looking at it. It's actually copy that's written into the coded structure of your page. It has a lot of purposes, but it's particularly important to search engines because they'll take that metadata and understand what your page is about, and they'll kind of use it as an anchor point to understand what each of your page's topics are about, and then from there determine its relevancy to search queries. One that is really obvious is, of course, the copy on your web pages. If it's not a picture, Google can read it. So you want to ensure that the copy is really speaking to a lot of the keywords that are used to search the information that you are providing. Also, you want to ensure that you have the correct URL structure. So what that means is when you look on your browser and you see www.yourwebsitedomain.com/ and then it names all of the pages that your website has. So it could say something like / tech services or / business services, or something like that. A search engine will actually take that URL and combined with all of the other factors, help take it all into consideration and to help that determine how relevant your page is. So this is really just another way for them to help search engines understand what you're about. Finally, you'll want to include some internal links. So what that means is that when you're on a website, and then say, for example, you're on your home page and you have tax business services. you could click on that link and it'll take you to another page on your website. What this does, it helps searchers and crawlers or spiders find their way around your website, and it makes it easier for them to index your pages, meaning that they're storing them in their library. And it just makes the rest of your website more discoverable. Because if you, on your when you're typically what we see with accountants is that their homepage is going to be showing at the very top of search results. So including some of those internal links actually helps uh, people that land on the homepage find their way to other pages, and it helps bots that find their way to other pages remember those pages and then start showing those pages for specific search queries. Okay, so a couple more tips. This is not necessarily directly on the website, but we do want to give you a lot more info. So, the first and foremost is to claim and verify your Google Maps listing. Really just update your business information and make sure that the map marker is in the right location. If you don't have an office, a physical office, if you work from a home office, then you'll want to indicate that on your Google Maps. It is possible to do that. It's called a service area business. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Also, you'll want to update your contact page and ensure that your NAP info stands for name, address, and phone number, is prominently shown with business hours with a Google map embedded on that contact page. And also ensure to include some social media icons so that people that visit your website can also have the option to go to Facebook and follow you on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever it is that you may want to use. LinkedIn is a good one. Also, keep track of your Google Analytics. Google Analytics is it's really easy to implement. You just need to ask for help specifically, especially with a CPA Site Solutions website, though it's very quick to embed and add. And then what it does is it'll tell you how much traffic is coming in, where it's coming from. It'll give you trends, so it'll help you understand whether your website is working for you and how hard it is working for you. And then, of course, update all of the title tags as a specific type of metadata in every page so that each title tag is unique and it mentions keywords that people use to search for your business, but are also relevant to the topic of the page. Okay, so I did want to give you guys some resources. We do have a great blog. We add to it every Wednesday. We talk about everything from website design to pay-per-click or any other marketing channels you may be interested in. So I would encourage you to subscribe to our blog and get all of these articles right in your inbox. We also have more webinars. So we have some on-demand webinars that speak to every aspect of digital marketing. If you are interested in that, especially now if you're doing taxes, if you're getting ready for tax season, I would definitely recommend that you go back and look through these. And if watching videos is not really your thing, then we have some white papers that you can download for free and that you can read on your own time. If you are considering us updating your website or changing it or anything, I would encourage you to contact us or any of our internet marketing advisors for help and see if we're the right fit for you. Our phone number is on the screen. And if you're not quite ready yet there, I would encourage you to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. We publish a lot of content to help you guys out. Even if it is just you're your own marketing person, you need a little help or advice, please follow us. We create a lot of content for you because we really just want to make sure that you are successful. All right, at this time, I'm going to go ahead and start the Q&A to see if you guys have any questions about the presentation or really anything in general. Let's see, we have a couple questions coming through. Okay, so here's a couple good ones. One that I frequently get is, how do I claim my Google Maps? So the easiest way to do this, let's see, we're going to go ahead and take this off. So the easiest way to do this is to go to gybo.com. That's GYB as in boy, O.com. This is Google's service to help local businesses put them on the help getting on the map. So what it does is you go to this website and you click check my business, and then you type in your business name and your location. So here we see ours. We're going to go ahead and click on it, and then it'll give you some information to see if there's some opportunity to update. So really, that's the easiest way of doing it. Another way you could do it is to search for yourself on Google Maps to see if it's verified. Verifying a Google Maps listing takes at most 15 minutes. So if you're doing nothing else, go ahead and do this one. Let's see, we have a question. Where do I find the blog sign up? So our blog can actually be found if you go to cpasitesolutions.com and go under the resources. This is the section that I was mentioning before where we have white papers, on-demand webinars, events. Go to the blog. And if you scroll down to the, let's see. There we go. Subscribe to our RSS feed. So this right here is an RSS feed. It's going to look a little wonky on Chrome, but basically what you can do is just go ahead and subscribe to it, and you can use, if you use Firefox or any other browser, it'll show up. And then it'll give you all the content. You can also follow us on Facebook or Twitter, whatever, if you use social media, and we post all of our blogs there as well. And you can actually just like us or follow us, and then you'll be getting a constant feed of of all of our blogs that come through. Let's see, we have, apologies for the background noise, I do live in the city. So let's see, here's a question. Can I buy my own URL or web address, and will CPA Site Solutions allow it so my website is not tied to CPA Site Solutions? I'm assuming that means you'd like to buy your own domain. So CPA Site Solutions will offer you a couple of options. You can, yes, buy your own domain and then transfer it. We can also help you with purchasing your own domain. But just to make things clear, your domain is your domain. If you decide to, if you ever decide to move on, it is yours to keep. So we would just release that and let you keep it. Okay. So at this point, let's see, we have time for a couple questions. If you guys do have any more, please feel free to ask them. I'm going to go ahead and start the live demo. So if you would like to check out our product or see how it works, please stick around. I'm going to transfer these questions over, or transfer the presentation over to Caitlin. And we will be having another Q&A at the end of the presentation or the demonstration if you have any specific questions about our product. Okay?